agenda. So there'll be a keynote from Ruie. He's the community lead. He's from Microsoft. He's very much active with community work, especially for Power Platform. Right, and we will be, and after he completes this his keynote, I'll be giving some introduction to PCF, what PCF is, what you can do with it, and what, as a developer, if you're a developer and not interested in no-code development, but you want to develop something, extend the Power Apps, and how you can do it, right, with some short demos. And also there'll be another demo where we'll be having a PCF control, which is pre-developed using Azure SignalR, and we'll be using Azure Microsoft Power Automate to send out real-time notifications and follow that with question and answers. So now the stage is yours, Ruie. I'm stopping my presentation. You can take over.
Yeah. Can you just confirm if you can see?
Yes, I'm seeing your screen. Yes.
Okay. Awesome, guys. So whenever anyone has any question, please feel free to interrupt me. Let's have this as more interactive as possible. So you can ask me anything, and if I don't know how to answer, I will follow up afterwards. So as I introduced myself, I have here my LinkedIn profile, so feel free to connect with me. I share only in LinkedIn. I don't have any blogs, I don't have Twitter, I don't have any other stuff. I just have LinkedIn. But feel free, I share a lot of things over there. So to tell a bit about myself, before I entered in Microsoft, I was a full stack developer. So I did a lot of things in web, mobile, integrations, desktop. I was all over the place, so kind of like a unicorn. So if there are some unicorns here with me, you know what I mean. It's like every time that someone needs something to be coded, it goes to you. So I was one of that guys. And 2 years ago, I entered in Microsoft and I joined the team of Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. And it's really like a big change, like from spending all my days in Visual Studio, coding everything and try to be optimizing the algorithms, be updating all my code. Now I'm in low code, right? And Power Apps, the Microsoft updates everything for me. So I don't need to care about any updates of my apps or the portal or so on. If I want integration with the authentication is out of the box, is already there. To publish my application, I click in a button, I share with the people that I want, and it's done. So it's a huge difference from what I was used to. So I believe that everyone should try. Don't feel like, oh, it's low code and there is no possibilities there. I'm a full coder, so I want to code. Please take my experience and try it, because you will find that is so nice and so fast to developer that you just focus on the real problem. You don't need to do everything of the behind the scenes. That I find that amazing. I don't want to give a lot of PowerPoints, but I just want to make a bit of context here. The Power Platform, it's including the Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agent. We are seeing a big trend in the Power Virtual Agents because it's even more that you focus on your business process. The UI is the same. You don't need to care about the user interface because it's just the chat, right? But then you care about the business process, how to handle all the questions of the user, how to go to the database, retrieves all the information, and so on. Before I continue, I really want to ask the audience here if you want to see more slides or more demos, because I can spend more time in slides or I can spend more time in demos. So it's really up to you. Everyone needs to say something. What do you prefer? Write in the chat, get out of mute, you decide. But now I'm going to wait until you decide. Otherwise, I don't move.
Yeah. So
I'll suggest like both combo version would be good. because
It's one
I
of it.
like as you go with the slides, we will get to understand what specific things are there, so that we can we can ask some doubt with you.
That will be fine. Will be nice to look at the demos.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, like I am new to Power Platform, so
Yeah.
like, can you share your experience? I mean, what are the opportunities in this field? So like, it will be very much helpful for me.
Okay. So I believe that if you really want to learn about Power Apps, we can share some links with you, and there are a lot of material in the internet to really start. So my content here, it's more like for pro developers, so for people that already knows how to code, how they can use the Power Apps, and how can they use the Power Platform. So I will probably go a bit with the slides, maybe a bit, yeah, that will be fine. Okay. Then I will cover a bit the slides, and then we see some demos in the end. Awesome. Okay, so in terms of Power Apps, the opportunity here, and it's really a relevant question, like why should I care about Power Apps, right? So if you are a developer, then you are used to do your custom code. And probably when you are in a client and they ask you, okay, we need this application, then the steps to build that application goes into, okay, what are the user stories? What are the requirements? What are the technology? What is the host of the app? How it needs to scale? How is the authorization, authentication, and so on, right? All that steps in Power Apps, it's kind of fade because now you can really work with your business person, and they can, while they are explaining you what the app needs to do, you can actually build it. It's that fast, right? So when you are used to the Power Apps, you can create client applications that runs in the browser. You can create the mobile applications that runs in your mobile phone. Then the user and the user interface is done in Power Apps. The logic is done in Power Automate using the flows that are included there. And then you have the service and the data. You have the common data service that now is called the Dataverse, and you have the connectors to connect to external data. It can be SQL Server, it can be Dynamics, Salesforce, an Excel file, or can even be one of your APIs, right? Dataverse is something that is very, very important. It's something that is integrated with the Power Platform, and it's more than a database. So inside Dataverse, I normally I like to call it that is like almost the heart of the Power Platform, because a lot of things happens in Dataverse. So you can have data, you can all the security around authorization, authentication, auditing, business rules, business logic, all of these happens in the Dataverse, right by the side of the data. And the data, the storage can be in blob storage, it can be in data lake. So for instance, you create a table in Dataverse, and you have a relationship with another table. So all of that information is going to be stored in a SQL server because it's hierarchy and relational databases. But if one of the tables contains, for instance, a file, that information, when you are sending a file to Dataverse, that file is going to be stored in blob storage, for instance. And then you have indexes that are going to Cosmos DB, but all of that is really transparent to you. You really don't need to care. So that is a huge advantage of Dataverse. You also have mixed reality. So if you start to build mixed reality with Android or iOS, then you have a lot of frameworks, or you, until you reach to an app, it's probably a week or 2 weeks until you have something. With Power Apps, you can do it in 5 minutes, right? So out of the box with Power Apps, you already have mixed reality that you can position 3D models into the view of the user. It's really, really cool. If you haven't seen it, please try it out. I really recommend. So Power Platform is really designed for every developer. So today, I'm going to focus more on the pro developer. So I think one of the questions around the introduction of Power Apps, it goes more to the citizen developers. But today in this talk, I will be focused more on the pro developers. And here we have Azure that brings the compute and brings all the brain to some Power Apps that you might need. So in the Power Platform, you have the Power Apps, user interface, Power Automate, where all your logic can be. Things like, I want to send the information, I want to call this API. After I get this result, I want to consult a database, and depends on some kind of logic questions, I'm going to do something else. All of this logic happens in Power Automate. But sometimes you really need to code it because you might need to access to some kind of algorithms that it's easier for you to code. And there is where the Azure can help you. So for instance, you can create Azure function integrated with a custom connector in Power Apps, and then you call the Azure function from there, or any other API that you might have. You have Logic Apps connectors, the cognitive service, and so on. Yeah. So you have a lot of things already out of the box in Power Apps. You have the images, you have galleries, you have text, you have now you have maps also. So if you haven't seen, it's a new feature that was released this week to public preview, I think. And but sometimes you really want to customize a control, and you really want to build something that is done in a way that it's not possible with the components out of the box, right? So there is where you can start to build the custom connectors. Afterwards, we are going to have introduction to PCF, and you are going to see what is that all about. You can leverage all the existing skills that you have with Visual Studio Code, with the Visual Studio Pro. You can use frameworks like React, Angular, or any other JavaScript. And you can already build a lot of things really nice with the components out of the box. But now, when you start to use all these custom components and all these capabilities, you can really change the aspect of the apps that you are building. So here, it's some kind of custom components that other people has built. When we are building all of these, it really supports the full development life cycle. So you can integrate with GitHub, you can integrate with Azure DevOps. So if you are familiar with the application lifecycle, you can use the same thing. So the Pro Developer extensibility, you can extend, for instance, Canvas apps, and you can build your custom connectors. You can integrate your apps in another websites or services. So sometimes it's not even like all the time create new apps. Sometimes it's really to extend software that you already have, but no one dares to touch because it's working, and or maybe the developer has left the company, but you still have a possibility to include some kind of iframe. And if it's a web-based, then you can put a Power App there and then extend that software using the Power App. I've seen multiple clients doing that. So even though that you don't know, or you might not know how to code, when you build the Power App, you can still integrate with other software. You can extend the model-driven apps by customizing the entity forms, the views, visualization of dashboards, commands and the ribbons. You can create client apps using the Dataverse, and using web APIs to consult the data and to get the data or update or read or write or all the crude possibilities there. Related to the Power Apps component frameworks that probably are the ones that I like the most is where you can actually use some code and do whatever you want. I just want to do this demo. Okay. Now, guys, you are going to take your phone and you are going to scan this app, or in case that you don't have a phone, I'm going to paste in the chat window a URL that you can go there, and you are going to do one thing. You are going to put your name, and then you are going to write something in the search window, maybe put your name and your country, and then click next, and hopefully you will see an image of yourself. And then you pick an image, you select the image, and then you click the button send. And while you are doing this, I'm going to explain what is happening behind the scene. So what you have there, it's a Power Apps portal that what you are seeing is using AngularJS framework. You can build in whatever framework you want. When you are clicking in the search button, it's calling a flow that is using the cognitive service of Bing, pasting that string, getting 30 images, and then when you are clicking in the image and you click in the button send, it's calling another flow. It's calling a custom connector that is calling a Azure API. From that Azure API, I'm sending a message to a queue. Then I have a plugin in my PowerPoint that is looking to that queue, and whenever there is a new picture or a new message, it's showing directly here in real time. Okay, so everything that you see from the button when you click until appears here, it goes to Azure, it goes to the Power Platform, it goes to the Office 365. So if you click multiple times, then I will get these multiple times, right? So I just wanted to show you a bit of how this is, it's like, this is low code. There is here some part that is pro development, that is the part of the APIs, but at least the portal, I could very easily go to, now I see, please don't put bad pictures, okay, guys? This is live, it's being recorded, I'm trusting you. So this is so cool. I just did this morning. It's the first time that I'm actually seeing this working. So I'm very happy that this is working. So I now imagine all the possibilities that you can do, right? That now you have a portal, you are getting data from your customer or from a third-party provider. All this data goes to Dataverse. It triggers a flow with Power Automate. That flow sends another information to an API. That API has some device that is associated with, and just react based on that. Cool. Now I go to move on. Thank you for all the tests there. And I've been doing a lot of other crazy stuff. One of the things is how to really read the sensors of a mobile phone using a Power App. And here it's a small video that you can just put a card there, and using the NFC sensor of my phone, I'm reading that card. If you haven't seen this video, just go to the LinkedIn. I will share this deck afterwards. You click in the link in LinkedIn and you will get more descriptions. And I wanted to use the same design pattern, but now with a bit more real-time thing. And this real-time is really now with my, so on this side here, it's my phone. So this is just the screen, and this is a Bluetooth server that I have in my computer. But here I'm just showing my phone. And this is a Power App that is going to the Bluetooth adapter of my phone, searching all the devices that have Bluetooth enabled, connect to the device, and now I'm getting data from the server to my Power App. And you see here the Power App, it's really fast. It's around like 300 milliseconds, 250 milliseconds. And I don't need internet for this. This is offline communication. It's my phone with my computer using Bluetooth. It's not going through the internet. And I can have my Power App sending information to the Bluetooth sending information back. And you can have even start to think about now you can have two Power Apps that are communicating each other without being connected to the internet. And that could be in some scenarios very, very useful, especially when you have, for instance, like printers that you want to print something, but the printer is not in the internet and your Power App is in the internet, and you just want to connect from the Power App to the printer. So crazy scenarios. What else? This one. So this one, it's also one pretty cool. So what you see here, it's a Power App that I built during a flight to Seattle. And you see here that is my camera. And when it's detecting my face, it's showing here that is detecting my face and is showing my face expressions. So this is pretty easy to do when you use cognitive service. But this app is done in offline. All this AI is done in offline. And that makes it a bit more tricky because now the AI model needs to run in the client side. So I'm using here TensorFlow.js and using a model that I got from the AI builder, the object recognition. Then I can use that model after I convert it, and now I can use it to detect the face or the expressions and so on, right? So all of that, I think if you search in my LinkedIn, you also find, and there is like the video of all the code and everything. It's available in the GitHub that you can just use it. What else? This one I was playing with my kid in when we were having some vacation time, and I wanted to put her in other places. Like I just she was okay, Dad, can we go to the beach? Yeah, in 5 seconds I will put you in the beach. So here it's my camera. I'm taking a photo of her. Then I'm calling an API just to retrieve the main center of the picture and remove everything that is behind, in the middle. And now I'm just putting that image like in a background. But then I decided, okay, maybe this was cool that I could actually take a photo and then send that photo directly to my PowerPoint. You see the same thing that we have done before, where you click and you send the picture. Now I was here with the Power App sending the picture that I took and just looking to the PowerPoint, send it to the PowerPoint. And I did the same thing for Dynamics and Teams. Basically, I have object recognition engine that sees what type of screen am I seeing. And if he's seeing a Teams, it goes to Teams. If I'm seeing a PowerPoint, it goes to the PowerPoint. So here the same thing. I took a photo. It got this one, and I'm just pasting in PowerPoint in this case, and afterwards in Teams. Same kind of thing. Teams, it's even easier because you have the connector. So this was another demo that I'm just showing you something for you to get some inspiration. And maybe this could be used in some kind of use case that you are currently working on or something. So Just use it for inspiration, basically. So here I wanted to put with the mixed reality. This is how easy it is, right? So now I have like I can choose my 3D model. I click and I have a dinosaur in my room just to show to my kids. And one thing that you are going to see in a demo afterwards, I just wanted to bring a bit, just want to bring a bit to one of these demo that I built, and I will just explain a bit. This is Teams. This is my phone, and I'm going to call my phone using Teams. And when the phone detects that I have a call, it's going to start a Power App, it's going to pass the phone number, it's going to make a request to Dynamics and see all the opportunities that I have for that client while the phone is still ringing. So here I'm doing a call, and then you will start to see something happen in my phone. It's going to start a Power App. It's going to call the API of Dataverse to get all the information. And now I see that associated with this phone number, it's still incoming call. I have opportunity and so on. And if I'm in front of the PC with Dynamics, then I have like a kind of remote control that now when I click in these icons, this is my phone, remember, this is my computer. And now I'm clicking in my phone and it's changing automatically my computer. So when I click in field service, it refresh and open that contact in field service. When I click in marketing, it opens the same contact in marketing context. All of this is done with SignalR. And this, it will be kind of my thank you for all this time. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to build. And now I'm going to pass the word to Mohamed to continue. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Maybe, I don't know if we have 2 minutes or something, if there are any quick questions. Mohamed, it depends on you.
Yeah, sure. We have time. Yeah. If anybody has a
Okay,
questions.
hi. The question is like you have shown a mixed reality example.
Yeah.
Is it running in Power Apps?
Yeah, it is. So
Okay,
in Power
most
Apps,
of
you have the mixed reality component.
Yeah, so most of the time when we are working with augmented reality, it will requires that our device should be supported with augmented reality. Then only it will work, no?
Yes.
Or it work for all the same Power Apps?
No, that will, at the end of the day, what the Power Apps is using is your device. So your device needs to support the augmented reality. So if you have a phone from the last year or 2 years, it should be fine. If you have an older phone, then you might not have the possibility. But you can search if your phone supports augmented reality, then the component will work without any problem. Did I answer your question?
And second question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I have a second question too. Can I ask you?
Go. Yeah.
So when you told about the offline communication cases and the offline machine learning cases, that's where my interest came in. Can you explain how does that offline thing works over there?
Yeah. So it's there is a framework called TensorFlow GS. TensorFlow is one framework to do AI, and they support JavaScript. So you can create a model that is running in JavaScript, and now you have a kind of engine to run that model in JavaScript. So now you can build a PCF, Power Apps Component Framework, that do that kind of magic in creating that engine and use the model that you have. So basically is that. So if you search by TensorFlow GS, or if you go to my LinkedIn, there is the source code available in the internet.
Sure. Thank you.
No worries.
Okay, I also have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you showed us a app that we have scanned that QR code and entered our name, and inside that image our name was showing.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you make that app?
So that URL where you went, it's a Power
Mhm.
Apps portal, right? And
Yeah.
that Power Apps portal has some API behind the scenes to do some magic stuff. So what I'm doing there is when you are putting a string and when you clicking the button next, I'm calling a Power Automate that is with the trigger HTTP request, means that it's kind of API. That flow is going to run, is going to take the string that you wrote, and is going to call the Bing cognitive service. And the Bing cognitive service can return images associated to the text that you wrote. And then I'm showing that images. When you pick an image, then you click send, is triggering another flow that is calling API. That API, it's getting all the data, the URL of the image that you click, and your name, and then it's sending a message to a queue in Azure. I think I'm using Azure Service Bus there. Now I have a plugin in my PowerPoint that is looking to that queue, and when there is a new item there, I'm constructing the picture and the text in that slide of the PowerPoint.
Okay. And where did you use the React? I think you have mentioned that you have used React JS.
No, here I haven't used React. So React, you are going to use it when you want to create different components. For instance, when you are in a Power App and you want a canvas and you want to build something there that is not out of the box. For instance, you would like to build some. God, there is a lot of things out of the box. Imagine that you want to build some AI capabilities, like that demo that I showed that is recognizing my face, and that is not out of the box. Then you need to build it. You could have built that with React, right? Because it's JavaScript. PCF is a JavaScript component. You can use whatever framework you want.
Okay. Currently, I'm working in Power App Component Framework. So, like, can I integrate React or Angular thing in PCF? I mean, can I
Yeah.
relate those things?
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
So when you are creating the PCF, you can just do it with React. I don't know if one of the demos next will use React or something else.
Yes,
Yes.
I'll be showing those
Yeah.
capabilities, Anirban, and how actually to start your development journey with Power Apps.
Hmm.
okay. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yes, I have on my phone the Power Apps application to be able to test my apps on my phone directly
Mhm.
when I build them. All
Yeah.
right. I was wondering if there's a way when I finish my application, I can like extract it from Power App. It will be a solo application on my phone for example, like LinkedIn or
Yeah.
other apps.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
the new version of the Power Apps client supports that when you are seeing the different Power Apps, you can have like that three dots, and you
Yes.
can pin it in your desktop of your phone. Then what it does is when you click directly in the icon, it starts the Power App client and it starts your app without you selecting from the list.
Yes, I did this, but what I meant actually is uh, if I want my application to, if I want to upload it, for example, um, on Google Play or for
No,
other people to download it.
no.
Yes, I
Then
can.
then then you can't do that. You can't upload your Power App to Google Play. What you can use is something that is called App Source, that you can publish your Power App there, and that is cases when you are like you are providing Power Apps to clients and you want to show them how it works. Then you can do that. So if you search by Power Apps App Source,
Yes.
it's not Google Play or it's not iOS. It's another website that you can just show how your Power App works, but you cannot put it in any of that Google
Yes.
Plays and things like that. That's
So I can't have other users downloading my application.
no, not at the moment.
All right. Thank you.
You can basically have the people in your organization using your Power App, but you cannot publicly open the Canvas app. For that, you have the Power Apps portals. The portals, these kind of websites, are the one that has public visibility, like the same website that you saw before.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries.
Good. So
Yeah.
thank you, Ruie. It was an amazing integration. Whatever list you have shown us, it was amazing. I would like to love to learn more on these topics, and whatever demo which I'll also be showing, will be showing with this session is the Azure SignalR integration with Power Apps, and this is something which you have done long back.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff, and thank you so much for sharing all your experiences and cool demos. Marvelous.
You are very welcome. Thank you, guys. Take it from here, Mohamed.
Sure,
Look
sure,
forward
perfect.
to see your
Perfect.
session.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen. So I'm not having these integrations which I can share, this magic integrations, but the session, whatever I'm going to present now, it's more focused on to start your development journey with Microsoft Power Apps. Right, so let me start sharing my screen, and I hope you all can see my screens. Can someone confirm?
Yes, Ashik.
Okay, yeah. So let me make the speaker. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So Ruie has shown a lot of extension capabilities, isn't it? Right? How you can actually extend your Power Apps, what all can be done, and how to call different APIs and different Azure services, and even the tensor flows, artificial intelligence capabilities. Right. So with that said, there are two ways you can extend your Power Apps. The first one is using custom connectors, right? So you all know that Microsoft Power Apps has got a lot of standard connectors, right? So for example, SharePoint, if you want to connect to SharePoint, you can do so. If you want to connect to Teams and post a conversation on your Teams channel, you can do so. There are a lot of standard connectors, and if you want to create a task and planner, you can do so, right? So for example, if you have got something to connect with your on-premises API, right, or you want to call an API which is published in Azure and do something, right? You can do so with the help of custom connectors, and it is nothing but a wrapper around a REST API that allows not only Power Apps, Power Automate, and even Power BI to communicate with the REST API endpoint. So, for example, if you've got some method to create an item in an SQL database sitting on your on-premises system, you can do so. You can create the custom connector and talk with your on-premises SQL, right? These different endpoints to create item, delete items, etc., etc. So there are a lot of various documentation available to start with your to create a connector and stuff, and even Ruie has mentioned, and one of the integrations, whatever he has shown, he has used custom connectors, right? And also, if you have got an API which is published and managed within Azure API management gateway, you'd be able to easily create a custom connector with few clicks. Right, and once a custom connector, or once the API is published to the Power Platform, to the Power Apps, then you can start using it on your Power Apps. And as of now, these are the various types of authentication types which the custom connector supports. Anonymous, if you've got an anonymous API, you'd be able to easily connect it, and you can also connect to an API which has got a basic authentication username and password. And also, if your API has got an API key, right, you can connect. So, and also it supports OAuth 2.0. I would think of an example. So you all know that MS Graph is so powerful within Microsoft 365, and if you want to do something and using your Graph API, you can easily create a custom connector and extend it. Right. So with that said, the other way to extend your Power Apps, you know, Power Apps has got a lot of out-of-the-box control. I can name a few, like text controls, label controls, gallery, image control, and etc. And if you want to develop a control for your citizen developers using any framework like React, Angular, you can do so, and you can extend it with a framework called as Power Apps component framework. And as of now, it is supported for model-driven apps, and it is publicly available, generally available, and also it is supported for Canvas apps, and it is right as of now in preview mode. And also you can create down the line a component or control for portals, which is I've seen that it is expected to be rolled out by March 2021. Right, so it is an unified framework. So I'll go to the next slide. So which is about what is a component framework. As I said, it is a unified framework. You create a control which can be used across all the different types of Power Apps, be it a Canvas app or be it a model-driven app, and down the line, as I already said before, even on an portal, right? And once you have the component built and published, the end users, I mean the citizen developers or no-code developers, they can start using this control on their Power App, right? And you know, I work on a consultancy-based company, and we do support a lot of customers with Power Platform, right? And when we onboard the Power Platform, Power Apps developers, when we say that we have got a requirement to be delivered in Power Apps, and the perception with these guys, with the developers, they always think that Power Apps is only no code development. I can't use my skill, and you use my skill which I've got already, right? It is false, right? You can extend the Power Apps and using all these modern frameworks, and if you want to use React, you can use it, and if you want to use Angular JS, you can use it, and also you can use Fluent AI. You know, Microsoft maintains this, which has got a lot of controls, which is pre-built, and if you want to use it, you can use it, and it works based on a TypeScript model which gets compiled once you build your Power Platform component framework, and you can extend it in whatever component you're going to be building. It is completely configurable, and it is reusable. If you create a Power Platform control component control, and you want to use it on a different environment, right? And you can do so. And moreover, as Ruie said, there is also app source. You can publish your control on an app source. You can start selling your control so that the other organizational users can leverage, can use your control, whatever you have developed. And next one is it is portable, right? And it is responsive on the different types of devices. If you access your component on your Canvas or mobile or tablet, right? On a website, it is completely responsive. Right, and it is optimized for performance, meaning whatever control you develop and publish it, and it loads in sync with the other first-party controls, right? So what I mean by first-party controls is Microsoft, which are whatever controls they have developed, and it kind of loads in sync with them, right? And it is not loading on an iframe, right? It renders using the PCF framework engine, right? And to start your journey, there is a website called as pcf.gallery, and you can find there a lot of community samples created by community guys, right? And also Microsoft is maintaining a lot of samples, and if you want to know how to use your Power Platform, create a component using Angular, you can get samples from Microsoft and also from the PCF gallery. And if you want to React, if you want to know how to use React, you can find samples, right? So the next is the technology. What is the technology with PCF Power Platform Component Framework to start with, and what you need? The first one is Power Apps CLI. Right, and that is an installable file which you'll have to download. And next one is Node.js. You need a Node.js, and version is 10.15.3 or even a higher version, and this is something which will be required. And you also require a .NET Framework 4.6.2 developer pack and any code editor. So VS Code is completely open source. You can use Visual Studio Code. And also you require Visual Studio build tool, a build command prompt to package your solution, which I'll be showing it on the demo. So next one is, what is the license? Right, so you all know that Power Apps has got two types of licenses. One is a premium license, which is also known as app-based or a user-based license. And next one is the standard license, which you get with your Office 365 plans. And if you have an E5 or E3, you get Power Apps, right? And that is the standard service which you get with these plans. And if your component connects to an external service or data directly without using any of your standard connector or a custom connector, then the user who is going to be using this app which has this control should have a premium based license, right? And if you're building a component which doesn't connect to any data or an external service, then a user would be able to use the component with a standard license, which they'd be having it. Right. So with that said, now let's see the framework flow of a Power Platform component framework control. So let's say, so here we have got three personas. The one is a developer, and next one is a customizer who actually deploys your control as and when a developer completes developing it. And last one is a user who uses your app, the Power Platform component framework control on the app. Right, so starting with the developer, they use the Power App CLI commandlet to create a control, and after implementing the logic, they also create the solution package, which then is given to the customizer, who installs the solution to the CDS environment and configure them, and after that, the app is the control is available to be used on any of these apps, model driven or canvas app. Then the users, and once that control is added to the Power App, I'll be showing how to do it in a later demo. And the PCF runtime loads it, right? And if a user makes some changes to the control, right? For example, if you have got a slider controlled developed using the PCF component framework, and if the user changes, it actually kinds of understands that the user changed it, right? The PCF runtime, and then it gives back to the client. I'll be showing it later on a very detailed level, the complete life cycle of a Power Platform control. So here is, as Ruie said, if you want to maintain the complete application lifecycle management of your control, you can do so. You can, for example, you can store your code base on a Azure Git, right? And you can have build pipelines, and there are so helpers which actually help you to install your solution automatically to your Dynamics environment, which then can be used by the users, right? And it has got this support, and there are various blogs written on this topic, and also documentation from Microsoft and how to use how to have this application lifecycle management for your PCF control. The next one is what makes a PCF a component, right? So if you after we create a control, it has a manifest file which holds the definition of the particular control, the name of your control and the version, the different properties, right? And also the reference to the resource file. And if you're using an external CSS or JavaScript or a JavaScript library, right? It has got everything. It is maintained on the manifest file. So then comes the component implementation, right? So if you look at the component implementation, these are the different methods which will be available, and this is the life cycle. So the first one is init method. So so this particular method, it initializes the component instance, and it has got a couple of parameters which you'll be seeing it once I show the demo. And there is this another method, update view, and these two are required methods, and this is a call whenever there is an whenever the control has to be updated for the user, right? And next one is we have this get outputs method, and this is called whenever there is a data change which needs to be updated, right? So it is clearly documented in Microsoft. You can take a look at the links to completely understand the life cycle and also the different and what a method, properties, etc. And at the last, the destroy method. So this is called a call when you have to close the component or close something which is not required, cleaning it. So you'll have to implement that on this method, destroy. So the next one is this is the life cycle, right? So after you created the control and it is available on the app, be it Canvas or model-driven app, right? So this is how it works. First of all, it initializes, and whatever your control has to do initially, it gets initialized after this method gets called, right? So then once the control is available, the user, let's say if it is a slider control, the user makes some changes or slides it to a different value, then the PCF runtime, the framework runtime understands that. It notifies the change to the PCF framework runtime. Then and then after that, and based on whatever changes, if it's accepted, it updates the view, right? And if it is changed, if you change the slider control to a different value, if it is accepted, then it updates the view to the user, updates the control for the user. And if it is not accepted, if it is beyond the limit, or if the framework or if it is not able to handle it, that's when it throws an exception. Right, and this is the life cycle of PCF control. And next one, so I'll be now showing you how to create your first control with PCF, right? So the first one is you'll have to initialize your component project. So this is the command, PCF, a pack PCF init, then you pass the namespace, right, for your component project and what's the name of your component. and template. And there are a couple of templates available like dataset, field, and I'll be using on this demo for a field template. Right, and after you execute this command, and all the dependencies will be installed, right, and all the npm dependencies. So, for example, if you want to call your Azure SignalR, right, and there is an npm package or for Azure SignalR, JavaScript npm package. And once you put it on the JSON package file, and it will install, download the dependency files with this command, right? And then you open your open the code component project using your favorite code editor, right? And then you build it. Your after the logic, whatever logic you want to implement on the control, you build your project by running this npm run build. So this is when whatever you have written, the TypeScript, it gets converted to JavaScript, right, on this build process. And after that, once you have built it, you can then start and debug, right? And there is also a test harness which is available, which you can use to test your Power Platform component framework control. And also you can do a debug with your browser tools, debugging tools, and obviously you can also use the console.log whenever you want to see something, debug it, right? And at the last, once you feel all your everything is done, your control is now built, you can package it as a solution, right? And these are the different commands for to package a solution, right? And then this is when we'll be using our Visual Studio command prompt to build the solution package, right? And there is also a helper command, pack-help, which will make you understand the different types of arguments or parameters a PCF or a pack command supports and accepts, right? And this particular command, pack install latest, and it downloads the latest CLI Power App CLI version. You can take a look at this link to completely understand the different types of parameters CLI pack CLI command accepts, right? So now with this, I'll be quickly now creating a sample control, right? Our first control. So I have I'm using a develop command prompt for Visual Studio 2019, so that we can also use it to create the solution package, right? And if you don't want to use the develop command prompt, then you can also create an environment variable on your computer, my computer advanced settings, right? So that can be done. So let's now quickly create it. So I'm going to create a directory, right, by this command. So this one creates a folder to store all the files, code files. So I will now change it to that directory. Yeah. So now I'm going to enter this CLI command to create a component project. So pack PCF inet namespace. I'm namespace for this component project, and then the name of your control and the template. Right. So this one, it is now created the project. You can take a look at it now. Right. So these are the different types of files it gets created. So everything is done using this CLI command. Right. So now let's open it on Visual Studio Code. So here, the controls. So these are the different types of files the CLI command creates. The first one is the manifest file. So here it has the definition for your control, the name of the control, right? The version, the namespace, and also the properties. I'm not going to make any changes here. Right, and next one is index.ts file, TypeScript file. So this is where your component logic has to be present, right? So you can see this init method with all these different parameters, context of your component, and the state data for maintaining it, and also for the container for your div for your PCF control, right? And if you want to create and slide a control using a React framework, you can use this container div to render it. And we have this update view. And so this method, as I already said, whenever there is some change which needs to be updated, your control needs to be updated after user interacts with your control. So this is where the implementation should go. And if you have got something output, and if you have some data to be changed which needs to be presented, right, you use this method. And this one is destroyed for your cleaning up controls. Right, so now I'm going to quickly do some minor updates to this code. Right, so the first one is I'm going to create a very simple control. So here I'm creating a couple of string variables, right, to hold to hold the value. I'll be showing. So there is one parameter here. So one property which we have already created. It is of type single line of text. Right, and we kind of going to show whatever the user enters on the single line of text property to be updated on the div, right, on the control. So let me now initialize the control. So after creating the variables, so we are initializing it, right, and whatever the user enters, and it will be available to this div, right, to the container div. It is just a very simple implementation, and we are creating a div here, and we are appending the value of that property to the inner text of this div, right? And you will understand once I show the demo. And next one is the update view implementation. Yeah. So this one, whenever you update a value, it should be reflected immediately, right, on the control. So this is some basic implementation. So now we have the code. Let's do a npm run build. Yeah. You can also see here, as of now, we have got only the index.ts files and the manifest XML, right, and the package JSON, right? Yeah. So now we will have to. I completely forgot to install the dependencies. npm install. Yeah, it takes a while, around a minute or so. It download all the dependencies which is required for this control, right? So these are the different dependencies which will be it will be downloading it, the npm package files. Let's give a couple of minutes to complete it. Right, in the meanwhile, I will also be creating a folder for generating the solution package. So the demo sample PCF. So let us now create a folder called as solutions. Yeah. Yeah, it takes a couple of minutes. Yeah, so and after I run the npm run build, it converts, and whatever you have written it is on TypeScript, right? Microsoft version of JavaScript, and this one gets converted. These kind of TypeScript implementation, whatever we have written here, it gets converted to a JavaScript after you run the npm run build, which we'll be seeing it. It will create a folder after you run that. It creates the bundle. So this is when it kind of packages the minifies your all of your external dependencies, and if you've got a css, it gets converted. So you do, it gets converted, and also if you have got a JavaScript, it gets converted, right? And it creates this a single bundled JS file. Yeah, it's still going on. Let's give a couple of seconds. I believe it is at the end. Yeah, and also I have I'll quickly now show the sample files, pcf.gallery. Yeah, so this is a community maintained site wherein you'll be able to find a lot of controls, right? PCF controls. So it is categorized based on what you want to do, right? So for example, if you want to access your camera from your Power Apps, and you can take a look at this control, right? And also it will say will this be supported for both model driven, also canvas app. You can find that, right? So if we go take a look at this example, so this particular sample 3D viewer, it is supported in both model driven and canvas app. You will find that information if you select the different types of controls, right? And you have you'll be able to understand. Just download it, start playing around, and see how it is implemented, right? And there are various controls. You can take a look at it. Right, so now it is done. We have installed all the dependencies. Now let's run npm run build, which will convert all these TypeScript files to JavaScript. It creates this bundle. I'll be quickly showing that. Yeah, so it is done. If you yeah, so here you can now see this out folder which got created, and this is the bundle bundle information, right? All your implementation, whatever you have written it on the index.ts TypeScript file, you'll find it here, and also the manifest file. And now we have built it. Let's do let's test it, right? npm run start. So it will now start the test harness, right? And you can validate and test your control. Yeah, so it is started, right? You can now, so we have done a very simple implementation, and if I change it to something different, right, and it gets immediately shown here. So this is the control, right, with this predefined property, and we haven't changed anything. It was a sample property which got created when you created the your initial component project. And if I make some changes, so you see here, when I as and when I type it, the framework runtime understand that there is a change, right, and then it updates the control. So this is when the update view method gets called. As in, you can also see it, right, on the debug tools. I'll quickly show you, right? So To debug, you go to sources, right? And then here, PCF, right? PCF tools, and then the index.ts files. You can see whatever method you have implemented on your on the control project. You can see everything here, right? So let's say I wanted to put a breakpoint and see what this value is. I put in a breakpoint now, right? So I'm going to change it. PCF control. Sorry. Yeah. So PCF test, and then I go to the next step, right? You can see the value, whatever value we have entered, PCFFT. You can see it, and also with this you'd be able to completely understand the objects, the different values that each object has got, and this will help you a lot when you start your Power Platform, start your control development journey, right? PCF journey. You can so this is how you can debug. So you have now seen a very simple control. Let's now see how we can create a solution package, so we can make this control available to the users, so we can also use it on the app, Canvas or a model driven app. So I will quickly show you the commands. So this is the first command you should be creating. Now I will stop the run. Yeah. So this command. Yeah. So okay. So CD. We'll have to change it to the solutions folder. We have created one, right? And we'll have to now change it there. Now enter the command. Yeah. So if we now go back here, demo sample PCF solutions, this folder, it created the basic files required to create the solution package. Now what we'll have to do is we'll have to add the reference, right? So where the solution dependencies are, the control dependencies. And the command to do that is, so PCF solution add reference, the path where your solution files are, and so it stays in there, PCF demo sample PCF. And now we added the reference. Now we are good to build and create the package. And the command to do that is, and it is it is not a release version, right? So it will create in a couple of seconds. So this command ms build. So this is where we are using the ms build utility to create the solution package, right? And yeah, it is created a couple of seconds. Yeah, so the package is now created, and if I go back to the solutions folder, right, and go to bin, and as I said, it is not a release version. Go to debug folder, so you can find the solution file, solution package. So this solution package, now you'll be giving this to the customizer role. When I talked about the three different roles. Now we are ready to deploy this package to the CDS environment, so the control can be used in your Power Apps, Canvas, or model-driven app, right? And I'll quickly show you where it needs to be done, right? So here I'm on the Power Apps, and after you log into Office 365, go to Power Apps, and we'll have to go to Solutions, right? And here import the solution. and browse the solution dot package which we have just created, right? And then say next. It'll be done. And once it is deployed, once it is available here, you can import it on your Power App. I will also quickly show that how you can do that. Right, so now you have seen how to deploy this, and you can also automatically deploy this using the build tools. This you can leverage Azure DevOps features, build pipelines, right, to make it available automatically. And if you're going to use this control on your Power Apps, there is one prerequisite which you'll have to be look at, right? So I will, and this is something which needs to be enabled by the Power Platform admin. And we'll have to go to the admin center. I've got a couple of environments here. So this environment, and where you would like to have that control available. And you'll have to do this only for Canvas apps, right? And go to settings. And once you open the environment, go to settings and product features. So this one, Power Apps component framework for Canvas app. This needs to be on. If you'd like to use PCF control on a Canvas app, this setting needs to be turned on, right? And for model driven, there is no such setting. You can directly after it is available, you can directly use it on a model driven app. And also I've written a blog post here to how to install a control to your environment. You can also there is also another way to install it. No need to go to the solution gallery and upload your package. So you can create you can connect to your Dynamics environment. You can get the URL, right? So this one, and if I go back to the environment, so with this URL, so whatever organizational URL you are now seeing, copy this URL and then authenticate it, right? And after it is authenticated, and you can then push your project automatically, right? So this is the command. Yeah. So PCF pack PCF push, right? And it'll automatically push it to your CDS environment. Then you can use it on your on the different apps. And this is something which I would like to show you. I'm just thinking if there is something else I have to show. Okay, so with that said, you have now seen a very simple control. And there are, as I said, there are a lot of samples, and this is from the PCF gallery. There is also a very clean documentation from Microsoft, and there are sample controls available from Microsoft, which I'll be sharing it on the slide deck as on the references section. You can take a look at it, go through it, and there is even an MS Learn module for PCF development, right? And now I would like to quickly show you another small integration which I have done, right? And as I said, and this is something which Ruie has started. So this one, the business case here is, let's say I want to send some real-time updates to a user, to a Power Apps user who is triggering uh, a, a flow which takes a lot of time to complete, right? And if you want to give give the user some real-time updates, what is actually happening on the flow. Let's say you're inserting around 10,000 records, and you want to show the user on the progress. And after each 100 records created or inserted, you would like to show the user on the progress, right? And this is the business case which I've taken it from a Power App, using this Power Automate, and also these are the different components which we have, which I've leveraged. The first one is I've used Azure SignalR service. And what is Azure SignalR, right? And SignalR is an technology which Microsoft introduced with .NET Core to for some real-time functionality, right? And it is predominantly used in chat applications, Right, and also with this technology, the protocol, the WebSockets protocol has been is used. Microsoft SignalR uses the WebSockets instead of this HTTP, where if it's an HTTP protocol which is disconnected, you will kind of have to poll the server continuously to know the recent updates, right? Or whenever there is something happened the other side, they will have to update us, unless we'll not be able to know the latest update. But with the SignalR, it takes care of pushing the updates to the connected clients. One second, let me. Yeah. So here on this implementation, I've used Azure SignalR service, which is a service available in Azure. You no need to have a hub server, etc., to have this, to leverage this functionality. Azure, Microsoft provides this service when Azure. It is a serverless serverless service, and also there is also a free tier which is available. You can leverage that. You can, for testing and development, you can create a free tier SignalR service within Azure to start it. And the next component what we have also what's been used is the PCF control, right? So which the control actually establishes connection to the Azure SignalR. So this service, it establishes the connection it uses the npm package called as SignalR. It is available to download, so we are using that. And also as and when there is an output or a broadcast sent from the Power Automate, we capture it, right? The next one is we are also using Azure functions. So there is two Azure function. One is for negotiate, and the endpoint should be always negotiate, the HTTP endpoint. So it uses the management package. And I'll be showing that package shortly on a Visual Studio, right? So this particular function, it takes care of creating the token for you to connect to the Azure SignalR service. It generates the token, and once a connection is established, right, from the PCF control, then you are ready to broadcast the message using the Power Automate. Right, and there are certain prerequisite, and after you publish these two functions, there are some prerequisite which you'll have to be taking care. The one is you'll have to enable CORS. I'll be quickly showing that, and also you'll have to add the Azure SignalR connection string to the Azure function configuration. And next one is the next component is the Power Automate, and this flow gets triggered from a Power Apps app, Canvas app for this demo. And once that is triggered, it broadcasts the message using the second function called as send message. Right, so now enough talking, I will quickly show the demo. So here, I'm going to the app. I already have this app added, and also I have published the Azure functions, which I'll be showing it shortly. Right, so now we have this app. What it does is we are calling a simple flow. It is kind of a long running flow. Imagine that we are sending some pushing some notifications on its progress, on its flow progress, right? So any so this is there is a PCF control on this screen. You can see here the connection is established, right? So this one, it has established a WebSocket protocol, and if you could copy this, right, the link, Yeah, and there is this access token, right? So this access token and the Azure function negotiate, the function number one, it creates this access token. It generates this access token, which is required to broadcast the notifications to the connected clients from Azure SignalR service, right? And I will quickly trigger the flow. So the flow is now triggered, the long running flow. It is kind of pushing the updates, right? The different the notifications, right? And without we doing anything, refreshing, it leverages the Azure SignalR service, and this is done due to this WebSocket protocol, right? And I have now copied that token, right? Let's now quickly validate that. Yeah. And if you could see here, so this is that uh, the endpoint, which is in Azure, right? The SignalR service. So I will quickly show the function as well. The hub, where the hub here, we have created it. And this is the service which I've created in Azure. And when it's going to expire, the token, you'll be able to see all this information by decoding this. And now I will show the Azure functions. So basically, this one has got two functions. The one is the negotiate function, as I said, and we haven't implemented any authentication. It is anonymous. It is a post request, right? And you can see this package is responsible for. It uses this it is this management SDK. It creates and negotiates the token, right? And you can also see here we are creating an hub called as chat, right? So once this function is called, it establishes this connection. And next one we have got is send message, right? And after the connection is established, the Power Automate, whichever you have seen, it is calling this function to broadcast the message to all the connected clients, right? So let's say I wanted to implement it, and what we have seen is just some example, right? And to implement it in real time, let's say we have got this functionality, this control on different Power Apps where different types of users calls this, right? So as of now, with this implementation, irrespective of who the user is, the notification gets broadcasted to all the different clients. And to make it more specific to the user, what you all have to do is, right? So user ID, there is this implementation already. You'll have to pass in who the user is from Power Apps. And this, once this is implemented, right, and it'll work for that particular user. It'll be more specific for the user, and to broadcast the message only to that to the connected user. So then this implementation is, and apart from this implementation, right, and it is and so this particular implementation is for sending the message to all the connected clients. But this one, so we'll have to send it only to the connected or targeted user. So you will have to have this value, right? So this particular attribute and the value to it. Right now I will quickly show the different function, the two functions in Azure. I'll be completing in five more minutes. Yeah. So these are the different functions. So so forget about this one, the message to a user. I haven't yet implemented that, but the negotiate function, this first function, it creates that token, and this second function message it broadcasts the information to the all connected clients, right? Next I will show that configuration, whatever you'll have to do it. You'll have to add the connection string of the Azure SignalR service, which I've already added it here, Azure connection, Azure SignalR connection string. So we'll have to follow exactly the same naming, because the SDK which we are using it on the function, it has this method implemented, right? Azure SignalR connection string. And after this is done, I will now show the course, because it is whatever we are using is a JavaScript, right? And by default, the Azure function, it blocks if it's from a different domain. So this needs to be enable access control, allow credentials, and also you'll have to add the URLs from where the power, where that SignalR, the PCF SignalR control is implemented, right? So since we are calling it from a Power App, you'll have to add content.powerapps.com, and also this one, Power Apps content Azure Edge.net, and this is also you'll have to add it. And if you have to develop it, test it on the to test it while developing it, while adding the control, you should also add the instance for creating the Power App. Right now, I will quickly show the SignalR service. So this one, it is the free tier service, right? So this is where you'll have to copy the connection string, right? So yeah. So that is it. I'm just looking if I've got something else to discuss, right? I will also quickly show the app and also the flow. Okay, so this is the flow. So SignalR notification. So this gets called from a Power App. I'll show quickly the implementation. So whatever notifications you have seen, the first notification, second notification, and third notification, it is sent broadcasted from this flow, right? So the flow gets called after you clicked on a button, right? And that's why we have this kind of trigger Power Apps. Right, and we because it is just a sample implementation, we have what needs to be shown, which notifications. I've stored it on an array variable, and then I added this parse JSON action to parse this particular value so that we can use it on here, right, on the post request. So here can see here, well, after the connection is established. So this can happen only after the connection is established. So what we are making is a post request, HTTP post request, and we are broadcasting this message, text message, right, to the client. And I'm just having a delay of 2 seconds so that it goes on to the next loop to second out the second notification, third and fourth notification. Right now, I will also quickly show the code of the PCF control. Right, so here I've got 2 properties, the manifest file. The one is the SignalR connection hub URL, right? So you'll have to give that URL to establish the connection. So this is nothing but the function, Azure function app URL. And next property is the message receive text. So we'll have to show the message as an output on your Power App, right? And we should have this another property created. So next one, we go to the actual implementation index.ts file. So I've recorded a code too. So here we are creating the variables which it's required to establish this connection. A couple of variables. I'll also be sharing this, and Ruie has already shared it on his GitHub. You can take a look at it. Right, and next one is this init method implementation. This is where we establish the connection with Azure SignalR. Right, so what we are doing is we are making this .SignalR API. So this is the URL which gets from the property, right, which is created on the control manifest file, and we are establishing this connection here. We are starting this connection, right? So this is where the connection gets established on the SignIt method. And next one is this output, right? Since we'll have to broadcast the message, and after whenever there is some broadcast from a Power Automate, it needs to be broadcasted, right? It needs to be shown on the Power Apps Power App, right? And this is the implementation for that. And the last one is destroy, right? And whenever there is no activity on the PCF control, the Azure SignalR connection or the WSS WebSocket, it gets destroyed, right? Whenever there is no activity. And there is also a class which we have created, and it is for that text, which whenever there is a broadcast, it needs to be shown on the app. So this is the class which takes care of that. Right, so this is the PCF control project. I will now quickly show this app. So I've used this control on the Power Apps, but you can also use it on the model-driven app. Yeah. And one more thing which might help you is, right? So whenever you have got some changes to your control, so let's say you have got you're updating your code and recreating the solution package, make sure you update the version, right? And if the version is not updated, you'll not see the changes on the canvas app. And one more thing to keep in mind is whenever you after updating the version, the solution is installed, a solution is deployed, the new solution is deployed, make sure you close the app and reopen it, and only then the new control gets reflected, the update gets reflected. Right, so this is the control, this is the app. So it is very simple implementation. What I've done is I've added the control. You can see here the notification control is now we have added it, and the only parameter which we'll have to pass in is the function app URL, right? PCF notification, this is my function app URL and the API, that is it. And it takes care of using the negotiate API endpoint to establish this connection. And once this is done, and next one is we are calling this flow, right? Which I've already shown you, SignalR real-time notification, and we are running this, right? And if you have to make it contextual for the user, and you'll have to pass the user information, and also you make sure that the updates on the Azure function is taken care, right? And after this, what I have got is a label, right? So here, the control name, and we are getting that output, for which we have created the a property on the control manifest file, which is called as message received text, right? So let me show you how I can also use Postman to send that broadcast, because the connection, whatever connection, it is still maintaining it, right? The WebSocket, it is still maintained. Yeah. So generic now. Yeah, SignalR. So this is the endpoint. So this endpoint is used to broadcast the message, and you have this. So since it is anonymous, you no need to give authorization information, and headers is just have this content type and application JSON. And then this is what the message, whatever message you'll have to broadcast, and just put it on the body and send, right? And I've just sent it from the Postman. You can see whatever message I've posted it from the Postman, it got here, right? And it is all possible with that WSS WebSocket protocol. right? And I would like to quickly show you that I said to install this application, to install and deploy this package, and you require the customizer role, right? And to add, to get that role, go to the admin center, right? And here, click on the environment where you would like to deploy. And now on the security roles, whoever the user is going to deploy it, make sure the user has got this role, system customizer, right? And you can add people here, and this particular role is required to have to deploy the PCF control to the and to the Dynamics or CDS environment. Right, and that is it from me. And references, I've given a lot of references here to start with how to create a custom connector, right, and how to publish a custom connector from the Azure Management Gateway, right, and the link to the PCF gallery, and also link to the Microsoft samples for Angular, React, and there are a lot of samples available, and the documentation, right, about this PCF, and also there is a learn module which I would like to quickly show you. Yeah, create components with Power Apps. So it tries to. Yeah, you can take a look at it. It has it is completely documented to start your PCF journey, right? And also you can create PCF control using Docker, right? And I've also referred the link here. It is blocked by an MVP. You can refer to this link if you want to create the control using Docker. No need to install all these dependencies like npm, etc. Right on your system. Rather, you'll be using Docker to do it. And as of now, creating controls in Docker is only supported for Windows containers. Right, and so this one switch to Windows containers, and it is not supported for Linux containers. And as of now, the Docker which I've got has got the Linux, and for PCF control to start developing it, you'll have to use the Windows containers. Right, so that is it from my side.